Good morning, friends of the internet. We are back again in the world of Tanks Garage, and today we are taking out our Chieftain. As you can see, the holiday decorations are up. It is Christmas time. The holidays are here. The cold weather is here. The hot chocolate is here. So I'm kind of excited for that. This tank I'm struggling with, if I'm being honest with you. This tank is, I've got to play it more like a medium at that medium to long range as like that supporting tank. The last couple times I played this tank, I tried to play it like one of my heavies, like my E75 or my E100. You just cannot go up those up against an E100 face to face and expect to win. Even though the damage output is great on this tank, and you can actually, you know, cause some damage with the great gun and the great reload, the armor on this tank on the bottom end will just be shredded by an E100, and you can't afford to take that kind of damage. So you've really got to stay to that medium support role, and I'm kind of struggling playing this tank that way because my thought process is, oh my god, I'm in a heavy tank, I gotta attack. But you got to use this gun depression, the strong turret, peek that ridge, and then see what kind of fights you can get into. So with that being said, we're going to see if we can find ourselves a match, shall we? All right, guys, so what do we got here? We got ourselves a Chieftain and E100, and I was going down the list, I saw this Legion, and I was like, what is a Legion? I hadn't heard of one of those yet. But later on, I'm going to see this tank, and I think I know what it is once I see it. But when I was looking at this intro screen here, I was like, wait, a Legion. I didn't know what that was. So this is a good opportunity for us with our Chieftain. We're on assault, and we're defending. So two things are at our advantage here. We don't have to go out and chase anything. All we got to do is defend this flag. And B, time is on our sides. So we're not pressed to go out there and try to find these guys and push out. So hopefully if we posture up here at the flag, set back, let our view range work, we're going to go ahead and set our camo net and our binocs so we can see across this great span of everything here. Hopefully it should put us in a position to be able to get some nice shots in here, hopefully. So we're going to post right up here on this ridge. And then that way we have line of sight on pretty much everything on the other side of the map. Right, left, middle, the whole thing. So we go ahead, we get our camo net and our binocs set up. That way our view range is extended an extra 25%. So we can just set back, and all of a sudden we spot their light tank try and spot us, and he doesn't spot me. So we go ahead and hit him. Unfortunately for him, we go ahead and we track him in place, so we should be able to get one more shot into him, and that should go ahead and finish him off. But we roll low, unfortunately. Then I hear the arty shell is going to go off next to me, and I thought, oh man, did the arty shoot at that poor little light tank? And sure enough, and he got that little bit of damage. So unfortunately for him, there wasn't much left of that poor little guy. So we see the motherland. I go ahead and I take a shot at him, but my shot kind of falls short. I haven't played this tank enough, and this is literally like my first game in the morning. So I wasn't warmed up, and I was like, okay, I can't shoot short like that in this Chieftain again. I got to really make sure I raise my shot up a little bit. But back to the tank. This tank, like I said, I enjoy playing it. I just haven't had a lot of time to really get into the gun depression, get into how to play this tank not so aggressively where I get in trouble with it. Like I said, the gun can deal out some damage, can deal out some great damage. The reload's great and everything. It's just a matter of getting in those engagements that are not that head-to-head engagements. Because E5s, E100s, like I had an E100 push me one day in a Chieftain, he just flat tore me apart. I couldn't get away from him. I couldn't protect my tank, and he just shredded right through my armor. But you can see at range, I'm not worried about this E75. I'll put shots into him all day long. He doesn't see me, and I don't see him. And he disappears, so unfortunately we didn't get another shot into him. Now here's the one that I don't want to go in an engagement with. Now here's a perfect example of the Chieftain. You can see the shot I have. I got to put it in that little tiny upper plate, or that lower plate. And you can see how much of a shot that's going to be to make. Put another shot over there and I bounce off. And then here's that little friend, Doc Happy Hour. And he pops a corner and I see what it is. That is a T-59 with an M48 patent turret on it. It's the most silliest looking tank I ever saw. Once I saw it, I knew exactly what I was staring at. So that's the Legion. So that was the first time me actually experiencing one in game. We see the Tiger 2. I go ahead and I throw a shot at his direction. We go ahead and damage his fuel tank. I'm hoping to get another round off into him, possibly set him on fire, burn him out. He gets behind the building just in the nick of time. The AT-15 doesn't want to pull out. So we know that these two are over there. I'm just kind of waiting because I'd like to see if I can get one shot into that Tiger. He does pull out. We set him on fire, and we do get him to burn out a little bit. So here's what I was talking about. This is where I want to keep the E-100, at range. Go ahead and I track him, put a nice clean shot into him, do 411 damage. We go ahead, we get him tracked in spot. I tried to get him one more time before he got behind the building because I didn't know if he was going to dip back around the other side of the building. But he does act like he's going to pull out, and not only is he going to pull out, he's going to get to the side of his turret. So I'm thinking, okay, I got one more shot right here in the side of the turret, should be able to finish him off, and at the last second, watch, he turns his turret, and that causes it to bounce. So now he turns back, so I got to wait to reload again, and hopefully he leaves that turret there so I can get one more shot into it. And there you go. That's how you handle the E-100 with the Chieftain at range. Now, at this particular point, we know that there's a few tanks out in front of us, but there's still a lot of tanks unaccounted for that I haven't seen. And our left side, if you actually look at the map on the bottom right there, you can see that we have no tanks to our left. So at this point, I'm kind of worried that we're going to get something that's going to flank us here really soon. So I'm trying to keep, vigilant on that and try to keep my targets down range. And then all of a sudden I'm detected. So I go ahead and I bounce off, and here's what you get. J Panther 2. He puts a shot into the T-28. I go ahead and I put one clean round into him. I'm going to go ahead and push him. Since I don't think he has any support, he was the only one that popped up on the radar. So I should be able to finish him off. It looks like he must have got hit again from across the map, but I didn't see it. I just saw the ribbon come up. He did, so I go ahead and I shoot him one more time. No problem, no worries. Okay, at this particular moment, they've got 4 tanks left. We know that one of them's the artillery. Still got to be mindful of that artillery, because if he rains down on me, I'm a pretty big target for artillery and pretty soft target for him. So I know the AT-15, the 50M, and the Chieftain's all out here. So I'm just trying to be cautious of this artillery. So I go ahead and I back up just in case he tries to wing around at me. Use this rock for a little bit of cover. Then I see our T-28. He goes ahead and pops off, and he's chasing that 50M, which not very advisable since he is a couple tiers below this 50M. But fortunately for him, the 50M decides it's not a fight that he wants, which I kind of found odd, because he should be able to handle that guy fairly easy. But he turns tail and he runs, and I wasn't expecting it. I just see him go by. I was like, wait, he didn't attack? So we see the AT-15. He's going to be cresting the hill in a second. So I try to put a shot under the railroad track or under the railroad cart. I thought I had a nice clean shot here, but I must have just clipped that track or that rail car and blew it up. And I stopped really quick because I thought, do I have a shot on his hatch? And sure enough, I did. Reload time on this tank is just outstanding, so we're able to put one more into him. I don't think we're going to be able to get this one. Yeah, somebody else is going to kill him. So we now know where these 2 tanks are, but we also got an artillery to worry about. Once we cross this train track, we're going to be in trouble. Now watch what happens when I get to the train track. Boom, Artie's dead. So now I don't have to worry about Artie. It's like the stars are aligning for me this morning. So I don't see the Chieftain, but I do have a shot on the 50, so I'm going to get a little bit into him. Should be able to get another 1 or 2 shots into him, hopefully, but then Artie hits him for 1,024. So it looks like Artie's having a pretty decent game. Now we're pretty much on mop-up, chasing down this Chieftain for his scrapped little bit of health. So with that being said, guys, I just wanted to talk about this Chieftain a little bit. Like I said, it's a tank that I've got to remind myself every time I play this tank to play it more like a medium, to play it that role, that medium to long support range. If you do that, you can see we put a lot of shots down range and was able to do quite a bit of damage, which we'll see at the end here. But once you start getting into like close-on fights with bigger tanks that are heavily armored, it's really hard to whittle them down with their damage and have no armor. Like an E75, for example, an E75 against an E100, I'm not too fearful, even though that the alpha damage is quite high for an E100. I'm not too fearful of my E75 battling a tier 10 E100 because I know I have some armor that can bounce around, and I can side scrape and really, dump off around off the side of my tank with no fear. So, but with this, you don't have that luxury. You don't have the luxury of bouncing too many rounds from an E100. So that 700 adds up really quick into that 2200 that you got. So 3 shots, he's almost got you pretty much dead. With 3 shots with my E100, I may bounce 2 of them. Or my E75, I may bounce a couple of E100 shells. So if you do get the Chieftain, that's the only thing I can really say. The only advice I can give is to be cautious. The Chieftain sees us, gets a shot into us, we go ahead and we clean up the scraps. So like I said, if you do get the Chieftain, that's the only advice I could really give, is play it more like that Ridgeline Warrior where you're just picking off targets from range. If you do that, you'll have great games like this. We got 5 kills, 4,856. We assisted with 1,458, and we blocked 0. So we didn't even take a shot. So the 2 shot, or the 1 shot that we took pinned us completely. We were 4,856. We were top of the team in damage. The only guy that remotely did as good as we did was the artillery. Like I said, he was having a great game. We fired 25 rounds, 19 of them hit, 14 of them pinned for 4,856 damage. Very strong tanks, you know, to shoot its gun. 782 or 83 into that little tank. We got 1 shot into this guy for 196. The AT-15, I would have liked to got some more damage, but he was protecting himself fairly well. We did 417, 463 into the turret of the E-75, 805 into the Tiger II. The J Panther, we did quite a bit of damage to at 779. We did 1 shot for 332 into the 50M and 1,048 with 3 shots into the E-100. And the Chieftain, we just had the scraps of 36. So you can see that poor E-100 being at range, not seeing us, not having an opportunity to shoot us, and giving us the side of his turrets. We were able to pin him, pin his track, pin the side of his turret, and cause that amount of damage on him. So you can see how that damage can add up really quickly. But when we're exchanging 400 of our damage for his 700, we could lose that fight really, really quick. So you got to be very cautious with this tank in that regard. So I'm learning with this tank and what I can and can't do with it, and it's taking some time. But right out of the gate, first game in the morning, I'll take it. 5 kills, 4,856. I'll take it. I have no problem with that. So with that being said, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow us on Twitter. That way, you know when we're posting new YouTube content and we're live streaming. If you haven't checked us out on Twitch or YouTube Gaming, come hang out, be part of the audience. If you're new to those channels, smash those follow buttons over there. So until next time, guys, we'll see all your faces on the battlefield. Thanks so much, guys, for checking out my video. If you enjoyed that video, hit that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe for future videos.